Hi there, I'm Dianna Cohen, and welcome to Take Your Time. This is a space where we explore conversations about how to live our most creative lives. I want you to listen, and I hope that this helps you unlock all of your creative potential. Let's get into it. You might be asking why a podcast and why now, which I get. There are so many podcasts out there. However, I feel like content right now is really being serviced for the algorithm. And while that content is great, if you're building a brand or you want to build your audience online, I feel like there's a lack of deep conversations and thoughtful conversations happening. So I really want Take Your Time to be the antidote to algorithm service content. I want this to be a space where you can be inspired. We have more thoughtful conversations around time and what it takes to build your own creative universe. I love creating things that are beautiful and thoughtful and are truly timeless. So I want these conversations to be timeless in their own right, inspirations of how you can build out your own world. I truly believe that great things do take time, and that if you have a great idea, if it doesn't hit right away, if it is truly thoughtful and considered, it will circle back around at some point. And you have to give yourself that grace, and you have to give yourself that time. And in a world that doesn't really give you that time and is almost short-circuiting how we create, I really want to invite people here to have thoughtful conversations about how they've built their worlds over time. Expressing my creativity is something that's given me peace and has just like nourished my soul since I was a child. I grew up in a really small town in South Florida, and my parents are amazing, but they weren't the most creative folks. I used to have to beg my mom to like take me to a museum in the afternoon. And I remember it was in 8th grade. I took my first art history class, and it was the first thing I was ever actually good at. And it changed the way I thought about art and creativity. And most of high school, I spent ripping out pages from magazines, art books. I remember Tumblr came out, and I would use Tumblr to source images. And being creative has always been kind of my safe space. It's something I've continued to do as I build out my brand Crown Affair. And even in my personal life, I love mood boarding. I love just being surrounded by creative images. And what you surround yourself with becomes the visual literacy of your life. And I think there are seeds that we plant throughout our entire life that eventually blossom. And that is what taking your time is about. It's about planting a seed, whether it's something physical, visual, just in your brain, just writing it down. I promise you these things can become real. There is no reason that I'm sitting here right now with a podcast, with a brand, if it wasn't for dreaming. And my hope is that you all listen and realize that you have permission to dream. And while you plant that seed, it might not be the day that you eat the fruit. The fruit will come. You just have to give yourself that time. It's so funny that I'm launching a podcast because I do always feel like there's too much stuff in the world, but I feel like there aren't conversations that I can really sink into and like be inspired by. And I'm so lucky having spent 15 years building things, not just my own brand Crown Affair, but building with other people. I have these really deep relationships, like in the trenches with people growing together, whether that's one of my best friends and my mentor of a decade and a half who has built so many iconic brands, or friends of mine who have been on TV every single Saturday night and, is someone that I shared Crown Affair with early on. And we've been on this journey together for the last 8 years, growing and building together. I realize I'm in a really unique position, having been in the trenches and getting to know people, and to actually bring these conversations to life. Like, these are conversations that I'm having over dinner, at lunch, with friends, on trips. And I want to actually bring these conversations to you and talk about the things that they don't always talk about. As I built this podcast, it's been exciting and also scary. I know that those two emotions are really similar. And something that I do whenever I feel a little bit scared or nervous is I take 3 deep breaths. So as an introduction to the show, every single time we have a guest on, we start the podcast with 3 deep breaths. Part of it's for me to like realign my nervous system. Part of it's for the guests because I really want to sink them in. Even when I don't have guests, it's something that I want to do because ultimately this is for us. I want you to tune in to take your time and realize that you can take 3 deep breaths and recenter and be more present in how you're spending your time. Take your time is my personal mantra and reminder to slow down. It's also a bit of a reminder of how powerful consistency can be and showing up. The subtext is take your time, but it's also kind of like take your time back. And part of that is the rituals that we have to keep ourselves consistent and grounded. It's also a little bit of like reminding ourselves that time is the most valuable thing that we have and that we should full body trust how we're spending it. And that could be whatever. That could be hanging out with friends or family. That could be building something. That could be resting and feeling really empowered in your time. It's not just a reminder to take your time, but it's a call to action to like really claim it. But my hope is that I can continue to have people on and we talk about their creative journeys, their creative references, their perspective on time, and just really go deep into how they live their lives creatively, because I genuinely believe that all of us are creative. And if we just take the time to get quiet and listen to ourselves, we can make our dreams a reality. So we'll see where this podcast goes. I have very, very big plans for it. And I genuinely want to build this together. I only want to put things into the world that I would want to listen to, that I want you to listen to. So we will be on this journey together, figuring it out. And I'm really excited for that. Something we're doing to end each episode is this little rapid fire, but obviously here at Take Your Time, it's more of a slow burn, but it's 3 questions about time. The first question is, and I love this question because it's kind of my fantasy, but if everything was cleared on your calendar for tomorrow, how would you spend your day? The second question is about what's a lesson that you've only been able to learn in time. Time is something that we cannot fake. We cannot rush. No matter how many resources you throw at something, time is going to happen in its own cadence. So what's something that has taken time to learn? And the last question is, when does time stand still for you? Since this is my first time doing it and I'm asking my guests this, I will answer these questions for you as well. So if my whole calendar was cleared tomorrow, first I would get at least 8 hours of sleep. I'd probably be in Miami at home or somewhere warm. I also love waking up in California. There's something about waking up there that's magical. And I would start my day with journaling, doing my 3 stream of conscious morning pages, and stretching a little bit and spending some time with my husband. It would then be followed by a really delicious breakfast or early lunch with friends or people I love. I love like a mid-afternoon workout. So going to like an 11:30 or noon Pilates class is just chef's kiss to me. And then running some errands, maybe going to a museum, somewhere fun, just out in the world. I love being out and seeing things and taking things in. And then going home, dream world, would take a beautiful bath and then get ready for a dinner with friends and then go to bed after hanging out or watching a show that I love or reading. Basically just like one big artist date of a day. A lesson that I've learned over time, I would say, is to not be nostalgic, and that nostalgia will kill you. You just have to always stay on your toes. You cannot rest on your laurels. The truth is like, yes, build things in a thoughtful, timeless way, but the world is changing around us. And the second that you're like, well, we used to do it this way, it's when you're going to be caught flat-footed. So don't be nostalgic. Keep it moving. Change is the only thing that is a constant. So just know that and keep it moving. When does time stand still for me? Honestly, when I'm like wrapped in a cozy blanket with a cup of tea and I'm watching a movie or reading a book that I love, I feel like that is when time stands still. When I'm fully immersed, no notifications, I can transport myself into another world. I'd also say with my nieces, I love them so much. And I love spending time with children. You can't, they just sniff out anything that isn't true and authentic and earnest. And I feel like they see the world in such a beautiful way. So that is when time stands still for me. So not surprisingly, if you've worked with me before, heard me speak, you will know that I love the term universe. That is a shout out to my mentor, Era. She's always building a universe. So you can find everything about Take Your Time at the Take Your Time universe. So that's on Instagram, TikTok. Our website is takeyourtimeuniverse.com. And while it is starting here as a podcast and video on the interwebs, my goal is for this to also be IRL, not just URL. So hopefully there will be events, activations, ways to gather around this whole universe that we're building and taking our time. I'm so excited. I'm scared in the best way. If I'm being honest with you, now as I've recorded a few episodes and I'm getting really sinking into what it is that we're doing, I'm actually so excited. I'm a naturally curious person. I'm sure you are too. I have so many questions for our guests and I really want to understand why they are the way they are and getting to their why of how they move through the world. So I'm really excited now. I think at first I was scared, but not just the guests. I actually want to build out this space together. I haven't had a forum like this. I'm so millennial and I've never considered myself someone who's like an internet first person. So this is really my version of that, and a space for us to connect, share insights, synthesize all the things that are coming to me. So I'm so curious to see what you guys want to hear. We can go deep on so many things, not just solo episodes, but with guests. And I'm excited. Let's see what this becomes together. Thank you so much for being here. I cannot wait for all that's ahead together. Please remember to take care and take your time always.
Subscribe to Take Your Time wherever you get your podcasts. Continue the conversation at takeyourtimeuniverse.com and find us across socials at Take Your Time Universe.